Hi boys and girls, it's Diane. Today I'm in my studio, which is my son's old room that I took back from him, and I made it into my studio, so that's really nice. But you can do these projects also on your kitchen table, all right? Today we're going to do pop-up books, and I'm going to do the simplest version of this. It's not going to be so much about how to make a piece of art. It's going to be more about just how to construct the engineering of a pop-up book. So it's going to be super basic. I'm just going to use a pencil, a scissors. I can choose either a glue stick, or if I don't have that, I could just use tape, or I could use some glue, something to attach with. Any of those things will work. All right. If I have nothing else at home, if I can find an old file folder, that's what this is. I cut an old file folder down that I didn't need anymore. Or if you just have a piece of thicker cardstock paper, that's an important thing. That's always hold on to this. You can always use this, but let's use the file folder because I think you'll have a folder somewhere in your house, and that might be great. So what I do is I take my piece of cardstock, whatever it is. I'm going to cut off the old file. I don't need that written on there anymore. And I'm going to fold it. And what I do is I fold corner to corner. All my students know how to do this because I talk about it a lot. Corner to corner, and then it bulges out, and I press it down from the middle out. And if I have something, any kind of drawing tool, I can use this Sharpie marker. I don't open it up. I just press it along there, or a pencil, or even your scissors. I press it along there so it gets a nice stiff fold, which is really important. Then I'm going to imagine this. When I open it up, I'm going to make my picture this way, horizontally, so it's like a landscape shape. So I want to I'm going to use my pencil to draw a very simple background and maybe a middle ground, and then the pop-up is going to be something in the foreground. So the background is a thing that is the furthest thing away from you. So I'm going to do a landscape. So I'm going to look out my window, and I see some houses. I see a tree way out there, and I see the horizon line. The horizon line comes between the sky and the earth. All right, here's the houses sort of way far away. The things that are furthest away are the least clearly seen, so I don't mind making very light drawing on the background. You notice that my fold is down here, and I put my furthest background though up here, so it appears further away. Okay. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to imagine, I guess, my house. I talked about my house. So I'm going to go ahead and draw my house in front of that other stuff. Right? So that's a little clearer, right? My house, shape of my house, which is sort of an old-fashioned house with the peaked roof. Again, if you live in a different kind of building, that's fine too. I'm going to draw that on. I have some windows. When you're around your house and you have nothing to do, you can actually observe where you live really carefully and remember how many windows are in the front of my house, how big is my door comparatively. All right, so there's my background furthest away. I could even put in the sky some clouds and stuff. My tree shapes, I break down my shapes really simple because a tree is full of millions of leaves and things, and I don't want to worry about that so much. I want to just put a basic shape in. And I'm going to make the line of where the earth is, where I'm really walking, like if I'm walking along in front of my house. So that line goes there. And then I'm going to decide what I should pop up. Now let's imagine, in Staten Island where I live, there are turkeys running around. There are no bears, so I'm not going to do the bear. And the turkeys, the turkey's awfully big. I'm going to do a picture of Albert, I guess. I'm going to use this other scrap piece I have here to do that. Okay, so I'm going to make Albert my Shih Tzu. I've looked at him a lot, so I'm going to make him pretty big because the thing that's in front, the thing that's in the foreground is closer to you and actually appears a lot bigger than the tree, which we know is way bigger in the background. The tree is a bigger thing, but because Albert's going to be closer to me, I'm going to make him a lot bigger. He had a haircut recently, but so I'm going to put not as fluffy as he usually is. All right, so there's my Albert. Now, what I want to do is make him pop up on here. So I need to make a pop-up tab. And watch what I do. I'm going to close it. I'm going to put him over on this side. I'm going to close it up. I can either draw if I'm worried about it or just cut. But I'm going to make a cut about an inch in on this one. I usually don't make my cuts deeper than 2 inches. But I'm going to cut, let's see if you can see this. I'm going to cut even. 1 cut right into my picture. And 2 cut equal. I want both cuts the same length so that when I see it, it's somewhat like that. It's pretty close to perfect. And I'm going to bend that down. And you say, what are you doing? You're cutting your picture. But that's the trick of a pop-up book. So when I open it, I don't even really see those cuts. They're there. But I won't see it until I push on the back. I push through. All right. And there I have a little form that pops up out of my background. You see how it really pushes out? It looks, I always say it looks like my knee and my leg, how my leg goes out and then my knee, and I have the front of my shin there. That's what I think about it. I think of it like I'm sitting in a chair, or maybe this is a chair and it sits out. This is the top and this is the front of it. And this is the important part I want you to pay attention to, because this is where we're going to glue our pop-up on. The front of the tab. I call these tabs, all right? Now in the back, you can see it's been pushed out. It kind of looks really neat. But we're going to leave that there like that. Now, what I usually do is I color this in at this point, and I color in my cutout. But I'm not going to do that because I just want to get right to connecting this. This is going to be a no color because maybe you don't have crayons or maybe you don't have any color pencils today. That's okay. I am very fussy about cut this stuff out because there's a lot of details there. It's hard to cut out Albert all in one cut. We don't want to do that. We want to cut down, make it easier for cutting by cutting the big pieces out, and then we can sort of cut around and do the detail cutting. All right? You don't have to be trying to get everything done in one cut. I have a lot of little bits and scraps that fall when I cut because that is so much easier. A lot of times I go in one way and then I come back another way and I cut. And maybe I even change the shape a little bit when I cut. Maybe I like to make it a little more fluffy. That's so good. And I'm not even going to worry about cutting down where his feet go because I'm going to leave that just the way it is. It makes it a stronger pop, okay? So there we have a tiny little creature or thing, all right? And that's going to be popping up out of my book. Now I take my base again. And remember what I said, we're going to glue right on there, and I can put glue in 2 places. It's a lot easier using a stick glue. It's a lot faster, but I'll show you also how to do it with a, let's see, with tape too. I put a little glue there, and I put a little glue on Albert, wherever I think it's going to go. I can test it beforehand, make sure it sticks in there. Like if it sticks too far out this way, his tail might stick out, so I'm actually gonna put glue right there. All right, and half of gluing is pressing. So you gotta press it together. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. I say, do it for, count to 20. All right, you count to 20, that holds on there. And then when you let go, it's such a better thing. Now, what I wanna do is I wanna go ahead and crush it down. Not crushing it, but fold it down and open it. Fold and open it and see if it's working. Because if this part is not working right, you've got to redo it. You've got to refold it a little bit, and you can fix it. Another thing I want to mention is you notice I made it a pretty fat tab. I didn't make it teeny tiny. If you make it too teeny tiny, it won't be strong enough, okay? So this is 10 minutes. I don't want to go longer than that, but you can see if I had colored in that background and if I had colored in my pop-up Albert, it would have been really something and look something like, here's some examples of other finished ones I did. Here's one, me, and I'm in the park, right? I did this for my kids at school to show them how to use crayon to color with. And I even did the bottom part. I added color on the ground level of it, and I put up backing on it too, so it really is like a wonderful card that can open and close. If you have to make a card for Mother's Day or something, or any reason, any purpose, here's a bunch of different things. Here's one I made with, I actually put tissue paper and colored it that way, and then I used crayon for my pop-ups. That's me again. I'm out in nature a lot in these. There's that one. Let's see. I also have one that I didn't really finish, but it's watercolor. And you can see I did a little crayon and then I did a little watercolor. Now watercolor gets the paper wet and sort of wobbly, so you have to let it dry and then you can glue it up, right? And here I have a pop-up that I haven't finished. I can work on that. Yeah, and here's a really rough one I did fast for as a demo too. But you can see I could put a lot more color. I could also like watercolor over the crayon again. That makes it really nice. But then you let it dry, all right? So that gives you a little bit of information about how you make a pop-up book. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope you can look for some tag board around, some postcards and things, and make them into your pop-up book. Thanks.